Hi, welcome back to another video. In this video, we're gonna see about Vim. Why should we start using Vim motions? What Vim motion is? And if we just go back to our channel, about a year ago, I posted an just a random 20-minute stream. Even in that video, I talked about I should keep using Vim motions and Vim. So it's been a year of using Vim motions, and I wanted to talk about it in this video. There is a very famous joke about Vim that it is impossible to exit out of it. The moment you type joke about Vim, you see this meme all the time. Accidentally open Vim, try to exit Vim, can't exit Vim, can't exit Vim. Because it is not straightforward, there is no closing button. If you click this, it will like close it. So the way to exit is semicolon Q. So which is not very intuitive, right, for beginners. So I think this meme is very famous. My main aim is to convince people to start using Vim and Vim motions, and more importantly, give a short primer on the most important commands which I keep using. Because if we just go to the Vim cheat sheet, right, there are like these many commands available, and even those who use Vim regularly might know most of the commands by heart, but they hardly use like 10 to 20 commands at max. So I wanted to cover the most basic commands which I keep using, and I think I will make a series of video about it. And I think in this video I will try to explain about what Vim is, why people should start using Vim motions, and also give a brief 10 to 15 commands which I use all the time. So when it comes to Vim, I see people getting confused about VI versus Vim versus Vim motions versus NeoVim. I am not trying to convince you to use Vim or NeoVim. What I am trying to say is you should start using Vim motions. There is a difference between Vim, VI, Vim motions, and NeoVim. So to understand why you should use them, first you should understand the difference between each of them. So VI is an editor. It is a very old editor which is part of Linux. I think by default you get VA in Linux. I think even Mac has it. So VA is the first version of the editor, even still usable. VAM is just the upgrade of VA, which is the most famous one, where which is nothing but VI but improved. And there is one more editor called NeoVim. NeoVim is the most famous Vim editor out there, and it is an open source project. And you might have seen, no, if you have seen some coding streams, you would see people sitting on the terminal and keep typing on it. Most probably, it is Emac or NeoVim. Vim has a really good community, so they keep building good plugins around Vim and Vim Motion. So what Vim motions is, just like you have certain commands that you can run in VS Code, right? Like there are few commands which are very no this editor specific. Example, Control Shift P will open this fuzzy finder where you can like search for system related property. All these are no VS Code's own syntaxes. For Vim terminal, there are certain commands which are called Vim motions. So to use Vim, you need to know all the commands, and these commands are called Vim motions. So there are a lot of advantages in using Vim motions, which I'll cover up in a minute. Since using this Vim motion made people extremely efficient, people started using this Vim motion even outside of this Vim editor. So that's why this Vim motion came into picture. I will show you another example. This is Obsidian. By default, I've enabled Vim motions in Obsidian. So all the navigations here are through Vim motions. So I know a bunch of Vim motions, and I'm able to use it everywhere, not just use for coding. What I'm doing here is I'm just using Vim motion for navigating and editing. Uh, Despite this is not being an code editor. This is Obsidian, just a pure bunch of Markdown files, but they have plugins to use Vim. So even while browsing, right, I have seen plugins which you could add it in your browser so that you could navigate browser with the Vim motions. Even LeetCode now supports Vim motion even for the free version. This itself says a lot about how good is this Vim ecosystem. So there are quite a few reasons why you should learn Vim. Most of us use VS Code. Even I still use VS Code. I don't use NeoVim. I still use VS Code with this Vim binding. But how many of us are efficiently using VS Code? VS Code is built in such a way to make us dumb that we just use the cursor, move things here and there, and then it slows us down. Think about it. How many times your flow has been broken just because you have to reach out to your mouse to do something here? So to copy, we all know it is Control C. How difficult it is to like select a bunch of text and right click and always click copy. You see, right? It is little difficult when compared to directly going and doing Control C. So we do Control C for we have been using Control C forever in our lives. So it is very efficient for us to just use Control C instead of like right clicking doing copy. This applies to every aspect of your code editor. So if you just start using Vim motions, you don't have to use your mouse anymore, so that you could easily navigate and efficiently write code. I think it is enough explanation. Let me just show you few commands which are bare essential to start with Vim. So you could add this Vim motion anywhere. Most people think that you need Neo Vim to start using Vim motions, but it is not true. You could just go to this extension and install this Vim editor, which is called VS Code. Sorry, Vim extension, which is called VS Code Vim, which in itself is a decent start. So now let's dive into basics. The most basic command is navigation, which is HJKL. You can always use this down arrow, up arrow, but the idea of Vim is you stay between, in a confined space, because up arrow, down arrow is little far away from you, so you can always stay within this small keypad itself. So J is going to go down, K is to go upwards, L is to move right, and H is to move left. So these four are the basic navigation. You can also relatively jump. Like example, if I do 2J, I've jumped 2 rows here. If you see in my Obsidian, there is a beautiful plugin where from this place I will have the relative positioning and on top as well as right. So from here, this is the first line, second line. So if I need to go navigate here, all I need to do is 12k, so that I would reach this line. You can also find out that extension and installed in VS Code. I don't know. Uh, I need to figure it out. So I need to figure it out. Example, if I need to go 5 lines below, I can just type 5j. So I have moved 5 lines below. If I wanted to move 5 characters in the left, I can do 5l. So I have moved 5 characters in the left, and so on. So that is the most basic of navigation, where you use J, uh, uh, where you use H, J, K, and L. So another navigation which I usually use is Shift plus this one, the flower bracket. So it'll just move from one function to another easily. That is one command which I usually use. So shift plus the square bracket, which is nothing but flower bracket. If I use flower bracket, I can move from one function to another, which I commonly use to navigate. So there are 3 modes in Vim. What you see now by default is called normal mode, where you can like move, copy, and do all those stuff. If you wanted to edit something, you need to go to insert mode by pressing I. So if you press I, you go to insert mode and you can like type anything. You could type whatever you want. And then if you wanted to copy something, you need to go to visual mode, and then you can start copying. It might look very complex for you at the beginning, but when you start using it regularly, it becomes very simple. So swapping between modes is by pressing escape. So what I did is I have mapped my escape to caps lock, so that I don't have to travel my hand from this corner to that corner, so that caps lock is very easy to click. For me, my escape key is caps lock. That's why you see me clicking caps lock to swap between modes. So if I click caps lock, I go to normal mode, and if I wanted to go to insert mode, I click I. Now you see the cursor has changed, and if I again click my escape key, it is escape by default, and I have mapped it to caps lock. That is one beauty. You can map whatever key you want based on your needs, and it is completely customizable. So if I click I, it is in insert mode. If I click caps, I go back to normal mode, and then in V I go to visual mode so that I could copy things. First, I need to copy this whole line. Copying a whole line is very simple. All you need to do is click YY. So Y means yang. So now clicking YY, I have copied this whole line. And if I click P, you can paste it. So small p to YY to copy and then P to paste. And then okay, I will talk about you. So if you wanted to paste a line above, you can do a capital P, which is shift P. You can paste it a line above. So if I wanted to copy a word here, I can use YIW. So that is yank in word. So yank in word copies the word, and then I can like go paste it. And another way is you can always go to visual mode and then like select a word and then copy and then paste it, which is also fine. But the flow which I use most of the time is I just use YY and then paste it. Or what I do, if I wanted to select a word, I do YIW and then paste wherever I want. Then what about deleting? So for deleting, if we do similar to YY, if you do DD, it just deletes the whole line. One thing you need to understand about Vim is deleting, copying, and everything comes under one same register. I have configured. So there is a concept called register in Vim where suppose you use this. I deleted this whole line. This goes stores in my register, and if I now paste that line, it is the one which I deleted, not the one which I copied. Example, suppose I copy this whole line by using YY. Now, uh, normally what we do is we delete the line and now we try to paste it. What happens is the one which we deleted is what is being pasted. There are ways you can like store this in different registers and use it, but I just wanted to cover just the basics here. Uh, the next one is you should always remember that there are a bunch of registers. If you go to this cheat sheet, right, you could see about all the special registers available, and there is one register where if you just paste it in that register, you can able to access the paste content everywhere. Like example, in Vim, if you copy something, the scope of it is in within that environment. Used to using other editors where once we copy we can use it all over the places. So I have modified my key binding such a way that whatever I copy goes into the systems register, or I can paste it here. Like example, if I paste it, it is the same one which I copied. But note that it is not by default. You can configure the way you want. Let me quickly go through my the commands which I keep using all the time. Suppose I am in this line, line number 5, and I wanted to insert one thing. I wanted to insert something below it. All you need to do is click O. It just creates a new line and goes into insert mode, which I keep using all the time. And then to undo something, you can click U. To redo something, you can click Control R. Control R, which will redo it. So to undo it is U, to redo it is Control R. After inserting a new line, you can navigate and then again go to insert mode and type whatever you want. Now you are in insert mode. So if you press U, you would write the character U because you are in insert mode. So you need to go to the normal mode and then start deleting or start doing what command you want. So if you wanted to if you wanted to run any command, you have to be in the normal mode. So it might sound scary at first, but you get used to it. So the next command I use is, so if you use O, it creates a line here, right? If you use capital O, it creates a line above. So if you wanted to go to the end of the line, that is, if I wanted to go here, I need to do shift 4, which is dollar sign. If I do the dollar sign, I go to the end of the line. I will show you here. This is a nice example. So now I am here. If I wanted to go to start of this let, there is a shortcut called, which is the power symbol, which is shift 6, which will go here. But what I do is I use something called 0. So what 0 does is it just goes to the absolute start of the line and click W. So 0W. 0W will take me here. So how do you navigate between each characters of the line? That is through W. If you click W, you can keep jumping from one character to another. So if I need to go back, I can click B, back B. Move forward, it is W. Go backwards, it's B, WB. So what I did is I clicked 0. I just went to absolute start of the line and I clicked W, which I came to the start of the word. So you can do something like this. So if you wanted to delete a word, you can do DW. So you delete that word alone. If I need to copy something, I can do YAW. That's why we were doing YAW. So yank in W. And then if you need to delete a word, you can do DIW or DW also works. So does YW works? Okay, YW also works. I don't know. So I usually use YAW, but yeah. So there are times when you wanted to delete something. So I will show you an example here. Suppose I am between this line and I am in insert mode. I'm typing all of these things. So I'm between two brackets. I need to delete everything inside this two round brackets. How do I do is DI delete in now bracket, because we are deleting inside a bracket. See how handy it is. I use it very often. If you DI bracket, you deleted this, but you are still in the normal mode. But sometimes what you need to do, most of the time what we want to do is we want to delete something, but we need to, after deleting, we need to type something else, right? So what we do is CIW, or sorry, CA bracket will delete everything and will go into insert mode. So D and C works very similarly, but if you do D, it will still be in normal mode. But if you use C, it will move to insert mode. That is the difference. If I do CA open bracket, I deleted everything and it is now in insert mode. I can type whatever I want. Now I'm here. Assume I wanted to go to top of the file. To go to top of the file, you type GG. So to go to top of the file, you type GG. To come to the bottommost part of the file, you do capital G. That is Shift G. So GG to top of the file, Shift G bottom of the file. This comes handy in visual mode. Suppose I need to edit something, because it's all about navigation, right? I'm here. If I need to go to this line, all I can do is GGJ. So I am at this point. I need to go here. The easiest way to do is GG and then 5J. So I'm here. So but you could always set up the relative no relative numbering and then you can directly jump here, like 10k would have taken there, but yeah. So I haven't talked about visual mode. You could directly swap to visual mode by clicking Shift V, and similarly you could like select all the files, and it's just same. If you do Y, you yank them up and then you could like paste it. Now you have another copy. You see, now you have another copy of it. You can also select a line, that is Shift V would select the line and then like yank and paste, do everything. Most of the time what I do is I go to visual mode and then I use W to manually select things. So even here you can use number. So I'm here. If I need to select next 5 lines, then I do 5J. I have selected the next 5 lines, and then I can yank, I can paste, I can do whatever I want. Because think about it, you take your mouse, you copy all of it. Instead, you could just use your it almost it is even faster here, because if you have the relative numbering, or if you have a way to navigate around, all you need to do is go to visual mode and do 10J and copy all of it. And the remaining files you could do JJJ, KKK, whatever you want, and then copy it. So this is even faster. So this is visual mode. These are the very, I think I almost covered all the basics here. These are the very basics you should know to get started. And then based on your you might need certain commands, and you could always google that what is the best way to do it, and then keep improving. There are way too many commands available, and it's all based on your needs and interest. I think these basic commands, using these basic commands is a good starting point, and you can build upon your vim skills whenever you need something. There are way too many commands and way too many ways you can efficiently use it, but I think this video is a good starting point for you to get started. I hope you like this video. I'll see you guys in another video. Bye.